Welcome to Creative Tian channel. In the last video, I used LK150 knitting machine to knit this checkerboard pattern. But you can see there are still some gaps we have to sew up. So today I'm going to finish up the sewing and add in a I-core border. Here is the ending of my yarn. I leave a long tail before I cut it so I can sew it up. I try to find a continuous gap so I don't have to keep cutting the yarn and sewing the ends. I think I can sew up the already finished edge too, so it's easier to continuous sewing. First, I thread the needle and find the point of the yarn end. You can decide which direction to go. I think I will go to the right and then travel down by sewing over the already finished stitch and then sewing to the right. There's really no rule for which direction to go. We just try to sew up everything with the shortest distance. And you can sew up any way you want. I prefer going from the back side and just pick up one stitch on either side. Now I want to sew up these two edges, and my yarn is on the left side. I'm going to pick up one yarn from each side so it's not as bulky. And the knitting tends to curl, so you probably want to open up or turn around a little bit because we want to pick up the outermost edge. If we are not picking up the outermost edge, you might see the ridge from the other side. So it will be not as neat as machine knitted. So I turn around a little bit. Here is my first edge. Go to the first edge. And it will not be exactly one stitch to one stitch, because one side will have two more stitches. So you just try to keep it even. And the left side, I want to pick out the outermost yarn too. So if you see a V, I want to pick the one that's closer to the outside of the square. And I will just keep it simple and repeat that. Find the next stitch on the right and on the left side. Now we finish seaming up this edge, and let's look at the right side. That's the front side. So we'll continue doing that. Here is our yarn, and I'm going to travel this way to do the next seaming. This one is already seamed on the machine, but I can still travel through it by going under the V. This way it hides the yarn. And let's look at the front side. You don't see the yarn from the front. Now we are here. We have choice of doing here or here. I'm going to finish up this side first. So again, we pick one strand of yarn from left and one from the right. And we have to find the outermost edge. And we'll just keep going. That's the second edge. That's the front side. And now I can travel back to continue the next one. And I'm just going through the loop. Try to hide the stitches. You can also use thinner yarn for seaming up, so it will be less bulky. This is the front side, the back side, and we'll just continue going. Pick up one yarn from each side. Next, we are going to do the I-cord edge, and I'm going to do it on LK150 knitting machine. So it's very easy. The only setup is a side lever. One side of the side lever you push down to the circle. That means the needle in the B position will not knit. So it's a slip stitch. Everything else is the same as the standard stockinette stitch. And you can start from any corner you like. And you can also pick the stitch numbers. If you want a wider I-cord, you can use more stitches. And I will use 4 stitches for now. I'm going to start with simple E-rub cast on. If you want the open cast on, so you can do the Kitchener stitch later, you can start with waste yarn and then ravel cord and then main yarn. So that way it's not a closed end cast on. Now I just have to pick up a starting point. I will have the back side facing me and just pick one corner. I use a transfer tool, pick up the first stitch. You can go downward this way or you can pick up stitch this way. I'm going to go downward for now. So I pick up the first stitch and then hang it on the left needle. And make sure one side of the side lever is set to slip stitch. I will hold it with my left hand, or you can place some weight and knit 2 rows. And we'll do the next row. Pick up the next stitch and hang it to the left needle and knit 2 rows. And we just keep repeating that. And you probably want to skip stitches evenly so you will look more balanced and not bunched up. But you can try it on a sample first because every tension and every yarn is different. And when you look at the back side, you will see the slip stitch create a line here. So that's how they make a circle, a tube. Now we are at the corner. We can pick up 1 or 2 more stitches so it's more full in the corner. I will pick up the same stitch again. So that's the corner. This is the front side. It's slightly curved still. You can pick up more stitches to make it more square. After you finished, you can sew up this, the beginning and end of the tube. And that will be done. Thank you so much for watching today and see you next time.